Johnny Dollar.
This is Royal J. Harkins, Dollar, Greater Southwest Insurance in Los Angeles.
Yes, Mr. Harkins.
If you fly to New York, you can catch a midnight jet that will arrive here at 4:20 in the morning.
Oh, I can.
There'll be a room for you at the Beverly Hilton for whatever rest you may require, and I'll see you at my office promptly at 9 a.m.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Harkins, but I'm tied up this evening, so I'll grab a morning flight and see you about noon.
No, 9 a.m. here at my office.
Why? What's the big emergency?
A conspiracy, Dollar, to commit murder.
Oh?
Yes.
All right, then. I'll see you first thing in the morning.
CBS Radio Network brings you Mandel Kramer in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator,
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Greater Southwest Insurance Company, Los Angeles office. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the 4 C's matter. Item 1, and this does go on the expense account, a dime for a phone call to Betty Lewis, the one gal who really counts for yours truly.
Oh, darn. Again, Johnny.
I'm sorry, hon, but I've told you from the time I started chasing you until you caught me, this sort of thing would happen now and then.
I know, dear. Oh, until I caught you.
Well, didn't you? Look, I'll call you as soon as I get back.
Okay. I could drive you off the airport, I suppose.
I'd love it.
Now?
Now.